Michael Stan Studios. Okay, so here we have a little clip of Joe Rogan talking to his CIA handler about the left wing, all the logical, reasonable person left in the world trying to fight back.
The Democrats are very good. I think we all thought perhaps that the progressives, the Democrats, were just going to go into a cave and hide, but they're regrouping, right? And they're starting to come.
Well, we didn't. I mean, we concede elections when we lose, even though there's a lot of evidence that you guys cheated. We concede elections. We don't go to the Capitol and try our hand at a little insurrection like some people.
Beards.
They're growing beards.
They're all getting on testosterone.
Trump still has never conceded the 2020 election, by the way. I mean, what does that tell you about his character, right? When we lose, our candidates concede, and there's a peaceful transfer of power. When you lose, your candidate doesn't concede, and a bunch of you inbred MAGA morons storm the Capitol and kill cops.
Yeah, that's right. Suddenly the toxic male is very attractive. Shame they don't have any. But I think...
Yeah, because all the real men are on the right. All the real men have zero empathy and just want kids and poor people to suffer.
That I think that if you give them ammunition, obviously they're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think some of the approach.
By the way, the guy that plays Reacher, Alan Richton, he's on the left. He's on the left, and he probably weighs more than both of you little bitches combined. I know for a fact he could beat the shit out of both of you guys at the same time. Right, but no, all the big strong men are on the right. We're the party of masculinity, even though our candidate is a fat, fake tan, fucking bitch boy that dodged the draft.
Approach to this again, not saying it's wrong.
I have bone spurs.
In the sense of let's find that waste and fraud, but they're giving them opportunities to start firing back.
Well, I think the problem is they're trying to do it very quickly because they want to get a lot done before the midterms, right? So they only have 24 months to enact real change.
Yeah.
And, did you see Kevin O'Leary talking about on CNN? He was saying they're not doing enough.
Fuck Kevin O'Leary. The government is not a business, Joe. The government is not a business. You got all these stupid business guys that have made their living off of ripping people off, telling us how the government should be run. The government is not supposed to be an institution that rips people off. The government is not supposed to be a for-profit business. Moron.
They should cut more. He's like, if you want to, because he's talking about it from an entrepreneur's perspective. If you're taking over like a failing company that's filled with bloat and waste.
Joe Rogan's just not that smart. That's really what it boils down to. Joe, how you could go from endorsing Bernie, being pro-universal health care, pro-universal basic income, and then all of a sudden you're a right-winger. This kind of shows, because he'll just repeat anything anyone says. He doesn't actually have the brain power to do the math on any of it. He hears a story, he can't figure out, does this sound like bullshit? Or he hears this business guy, the Shark Tank dipshit Kevin O'Leary saying, yeah, they should cut more. And he doesn't think, this is a business guy, a rich business guy. Maybe he just wants them to cut stuff because that would benefit him. But in reality, it wouldn't benefit the American people at all, right? That's common sense. But no, Joe doesn't get that. And I hate to say it, I used to watch Joe Rogan. I hate to say it, he's not that smart. He's not that smart. He has a decent memory. He can remember some stupid fucking bullshit article he read on some right-wing website a week ago. But he doesn't have the brain computation to actually be able to sift through this stuff and figure out what's true and what's not true. He doesn't have the brain computation to listen to a guy and be able to tell, well, maybe this guy has some ulterior motives here. Oh. No, he can't do that. He's a fucking idiot. He had Terrence Howard on his show, and he's sitting there, oh, gee, Terrence, you really, God, you sound like a genius. You know, the guy is clinically insane. He's schizoid. And he's rambling on about nothing, and Joe Rogan's over here stroking his cock. Oh, yeah, Terrence. Oh, you're such a smart guy. That should tell you how smart Joe Rogan is.
And he's like, that is the government. He goes, you got to cut more. He goes, cut everything. Cut it all out, and then find out what's necessary. And
We do need to cut. We definitely need to cut something. Guillotine, anyone?
rebuild it from there. It
Well,
was
I
interesting
would
because he was saying
argue-
it on on CNN, and CNN they were like, oh, oh,
Yeah, I
pennies
know.
were in a wad.
Oh my God! Well, the 5 people that watch CNN still were probably
There's probably
there
20.
you go. Yeah,
But the thing about it is, they're all united in their message, whether it's
Yeah.
MSNBC.
Well, look, CNN and MSNBC are in trouble. There's no doubt that people are sick of the media. I think people on the left are more honest about the problem with the media. You know, the people on the right have no problem taking in propaganda as long as it's their propaganda. You know, they should all know that Newsmax and Fox News are not unbiased sources, right? I think they do know that, but they prefer it that way. They like the fact that their guys are biased. They like the fact that their guys lie. They brag about the fact that their guys lie. You know,
I watched MSNBC.
Jesse Waters and what's Matt Walsh bragging about the fact that they lie. You know, Matt Walsh, the second Trump got elected, is tweeting out, "Oh yeah, by the way, Project 2025 was the plan."
The other day in the gym. Oh my God, it was awesome motivation to work out because these people looked morbidly obese, and they were given they had this language that they were speaking. It was like almost like they were
I mean, you realize Trump is morbidly obese, don't you, Joe? This is the baffling thing about this right-wing ecosphere. These guys all spend so much time and energy trying to be macho, and then they support fucking Trump, who is the biggest pussy I've ever seen. Have you seen the way Trump stands at a podium on his tiptoes, a little light in the loafers?
translating from another language. Like it was all like, it didn't make sense. It's like, you know, we're in danger. You know, it was the way they were talking. It's like my people feel like they're in danger, like they're being.
I listen to a lot of left-wing political media. I never hear this voice Joe's doing. My people feel, you know, that's not actually how people on the left talk. That's how Republican morons interpret people on the left talking, right? It's just lazy. Why don't you make an argument about policy? Why don't you tell us why it's a good thing that Elon Musk is ransacking Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid? Why don't you explain that to us? Explain why we're so stupid for being concerned about an unelected oligarch, supposedly the richest man in the world, fucking with our government. You know? Oh, why is that? Why is it that the White House is denying that Musk is in charge of Doge now? Why is that? Could it be because it was woefully illegal for him to be in charge of that thing without a confirmation hearing and a background check? I wonder. You got the South African apartheid billionaire cutting our government. You know, and the Republicans sit back, well, Trump won a mandate. No, what do you mean he won a mandate? He won by a smaller margin than Biden won in 2020. More Americans didn't vote for Trump than did vote for Trump, right? And you guys probably stole it. At the end of the day, you probably stole it. 15 million Democrats stayed home? Really? 15 million? Seems like a lot.
Being criminalized. We are, you know, we're being pushed out of society. We're being told we don't exist. And then, of course, you have to say you're an ally of the LGBTQ
You have
plus
to be an ally.
They're digging.
Well, they are being discriminated against. They are. I mean, what do you want them to do? Not say anything when they're being discriminated against? Joe, you used to care about marginalized group. You used to care about the little guy, poor people, or at least you used to claim to before you were worth half a billion dollars. What the fuck happened to this guy? You know? Man, it's like that old saying, you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. That's Joe Rogan. That is Joe Rogan's slogan, right? He's been around long enough, now he's becoming the villain. This is Joe Rogan's villain arc. And if at some point he's apologizing and I was wrong and trying to go back on all this shit, I'll never forgive him. You know, you helped get this guy elected. We're very likely looking at the end of our republic as we know it right now. Thanks to dipshits like you, who don't know how to actually do research, who don't know how to actually fact check anything, don't even make the effort. If it's easy and convenient, if you're friends with the guy, you know, you're a piece of shit, dude. You're a fucking piece of shit.
Getting their heels in on all that stuff,
Yeah.
though, which is that's not going to win anymore. That's too crazy. Even like kind progressive people realize, like, you know, you've done a weird thing with women's sports. You've done a weird thing with.
The thing is, the women's sports issue does not matter. Joe Rogan, you've never cared about women's sports. Let's be real. You're not watching any. I mean, maybe you care about women's MMA. That's the extent of it, right? This does not matter. When you're talking about the grand scheme of things, when you're talking about climate change, when you're talking about the disintegration of the middle class, right? The growing wealth inequality in this country. Things that actually fucking matter, right? Russia and Ukraine actually fucking matters. What happens in Europe actually fucking matters for us. And you ignore all that stuff because you want to focus on the 10 instances in total that have happened where there's a trans female competing in women's sports. Who gives a fucking shit? Who gives a fucking shit? Don't you think we have more important things to worry about, Joe Rogan? You know, we're on the brink of World War III. If you don't think that what Trump is doing with the Ukraine-Russia situation is going to lead to World War III, then you don't know history very well, right? Ever heard of appeasement? Ever heard of fucking Neville Chamberlain? You really think Putin's going to stop? You really think he's going to stop with the territory we give him in Ukraine? Really? You really think Putin's scared of Trump? Trump gives Putin everything. Trump is Putin's little bitch boy. You guys sat around with, oh, Biden's weak, Biden. Well, Biden stood up to Putin. Why won't your fat little orange guy stand up to Putin? Explain that one. Oh, Trump's such a strong... Okay, why is he sucking Putin's dick? Answer the fucking question, bitch. Answer the fucking question. Even people like Ben Shapiro are realizing now that this guy isn't the guy they thought he was. And to be fair, you know, Joe Rogan's very stupid. I think Ben Shapiro is actually probably smart, but a very cynical, greedy person, you know. I think Ben Shapiro probably has known for a long time that Trump is bad for America, but he can't say that because he'd lose his audience.
The safety of women in bathrooms. And it's not to say that some of these people who are legitimate trans people who really do just want to use the women.
Another issue, you know, another thing that doesn't matter, trans bathrooms. We're literally on the brink of World War III right now. We're appeasing a dictator. We've got an unelected South African oligarch dipping his hands in the honeypot, doing who knows what with our personal information, doing who knows what with our funds. What the fuck are you going to do if your Social Security disappears? What recourse do you think you have? Honestly. You think the media is going to report on it? The media is scared shitless of Trump right now because he's going after him. CBS and PBS.
Women's.
By the way, I mean, what the right sat around talking about free speech for so long. It's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me.
room and be treated like a woman. That's true too, but you open the door for perverts, and you're not admitting that. You open the door. You just
Yeah, how many perverts are going in the bathroom? I mean, come on, man. Come on. No one ever talks about, you know how many men molest little boys? No one ever talks about the bathroom situation with men and little boys. I've never heard it once ever brought up. Despite the fact that that is a pretty common crime, right? You never hear people talk about that.
just allowing.
And I'm not saying it's a common crime in restrooms. I'm saying it's a common crime for men to molest little boys.
Guys with beards and hard dicks to wander around the women's room.
And how tough is it to just...
Guys with beards and hard dicks. Really, man? You really think that there's... Oh, my God.
have a whatever, a unisex bathroom, right? Most places, or a lot of places.
This is how democracy dies. This is how Western civilization dies. With bullshit. With bullshit. So all this stuff that matters, they got Joe Rogan over here with his panties in a twist. He wanted to say your panties are in a twist over nothing. You're worried that there's a guy with a beard and a hard dick walking around a girl's bathroom.
Do, right? So you got fine.
As long as it's not a big bathroom. The problem is a group, if it's all single bathrooms, but that's not economically feasible at like a stadium.
Right.
You know, and that's where it becomes a problem. And then it's
the fact that you're wasting your time even talking about this says so much. There are so many things that matter in this world, and you're going to sit around and waste 5 minutes talking about transgenders and bathrooms.
It's very good, right?
You're
dance the line.
You're very set.
Been an issue.
Yeah. No, they just want to get on with it, right? They want to be accepted. They do something, even more wacky.
Well, I think it's a problem with a lot of the people that are quote unquote leftists in general, is that they've been bullied and picked on all their life, and they've been fucked with, and now they have a gang.
Oh, projection. Joe Rogan has openly talked about how he was bullied as a kid. He's a little guy now, so he was a little guy then. And he's openly talked about it. He was bullied. I mean, that's why he does steroids. That's why he rolls around with men on a mat, because he's a very insecure man. He is very insecure. And, a part of that is because he's very small. He's about 5'5". Another part of that is because he was bullied as a kid. Let me tell you something, Joe. You're projecting. Okay. I'm starting to think Joe Rogan just doesn't have empathy anymore, like he's a sociopath. Because normal people feel empathy, right? Normal people don't want children to be sick and hungry, right? I mean, but now apparently, according to Joe Rogan, if you have empathy, it's because you were bullied. Actually, I think the opposite is true. I think someone being bullied could make them a sociopath. I don't think someone being bullied is going to make them suddenly grow empathy where there was no empathy, right? Joe Rogan has said oftentimes, hurt people hurt people. Well, the Democrats aren't trying to hurt people. You guys are. You notice how the Democrats are the inclusive party. We're the party that doesn't want to segregate and doesn't want to tell people how to live their lives and doesn't want to make people feel bad about themselves. That's the Democratic Party. The Republican Party, meanwhile, is the party of hate and vitriol. I think a lot of Republicans were actually bullied. I think Joe Rogan has this backwards. And Joe Rogan is the evidence, because Joe Rogan was bullied. And he's still bullied, A big reason why Joe Rogan became this way is because CNN was bullying him.
And now they're going to go fuck with other people.
Yeah, it's not much of a gang, though, is it really?
But it's online, the words...
That's true.
The words they use online, it's like very attacking.
Yeah.
It's like this is like a core aspect of progressives right now online, is that when they're tweeting about stuff and when they're posting about stuff, it's very aggressive and very angry and...
Yep, and the people have a right to be angry, right? They're dismantling our federal government. They're firing federal employees by the thousands for no reason. And they're robbing us blind. They're robbing us blind. You wonder where that money's going to go, that money they find. Trump was saying, we're going to give 20% to the people, which is bullshit. That's never going to happen. Even if it did happen, 20% of a couple $1 billion spread across 300 million people. Like, what are you going to send us all a check for $4? I mean, what are you talking about, right? It wouldn't even be $4. What are you talking about? What's the point? The other thing is, he said 20% to the people, 20% to pay down the debt. Okay, where's the other 60% going? Your pocket? According to this stupid plan of yours, right? They want to give tax cuts to billionaires and millionaires, and they want to make the rest of us suffer. And you people are so and I'm talking to Republicans, you people are so stupid that you voted for it, and you continue to defend it. It's like, open your eyes, dipshit. Open your eyes. What is it going to take? Is he going to have to come take your guns? I mean, he's already calling himself a king. They're already talking about a third term. He's already saying that he who saves his country cannot break the law. I mean, at what point do you just admit that we were right? Do you ever admit that we were right? Did those Nazis that went down to Brazil and Argentina, did they ever admit that they were wrong? Probably not, right? You people just won't be convinced. I mean, this guy could walk up and shoot your mother in the head and you'd defend him.
Insulting.
Yeah.
And that this is their way to demean, whether it's Pete Hegseth or Kash Patel or any of these people that are involved, or RFK Jr., any of these people that are involved, even Tulsi. It's like the way that
they're all unqualified. And beyond being unqualified, like Tulsi, for instance, is a Russian fucking pawn. She's Putin's fucking pawn. Not only is she unqualified, but she's a bad person that has no business being in there. Pete Hegseth, a Fox News host, you're going to make him Secretary of Defense? What the fuck are we talking about here? He is way in over his head. And, by the way, he's also a womanizing alcoholic. That's the guy you want controlling our military? That fucking moron? Get real, dude. Pete Hegseth is like a Jersey Shore castmate. What are we talking about here?
they're doing it. It's like, it's not about policy or agreeing or disagreeing about perspectives or the way they're choosing to govern. It's not that. It's
I think they're angry because for a while, right, the mob rule was working, right? And everybody, was being, silenced from the bullying or the fear.
Look, most people in America that voted for Trump did so because of inflation. End of story. That was it. That's all they cared about, was the economy. They heard them blaming Biden for the economy. They saw that Biden was this senile old man that didn't do interviews or anything. So it was easy for that to stick. And look, incumbents everywhere lost. Have a little bit of fucking humility. Have a little bit of introspection. And just realize, like, there are more Americans that dislike Trump and dislike your guys' bullshit than like it. Okay? You didn't win this election because Trump was talking about transgenders going to the bathroom. You won the election because incumbents everywhere lost because of inflation. And by the way, Trump's not doing anything to stop inflation. Inflation's going up. They've got all sorts of excuses. And yeah, the hardcore MAGA base, they'll defend Trump's orange fat ass no matter what. Because they're sycophants, they're fucking morons, they're fucking retards.
Fear of being bullied. So,
and it lasted for so long.
It lasted for years. Right? You think about it.
It lasted until Elon bought Twitter. Really, realistically.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
If he hadn't done,
and are you going to talk about all the censorship Elon partakes in? I'm sure the Democrats didn't let you guys post your Nazi bullshit and your Sieg Heils and your this and that, but this idea that the right is pro-free speech, you realize Trump is suing PBS, the Des Moines Register, and CBS, right? Well, I don't know if he's suing PBS. He's going after PBS and NPR. But he's suing the Des Moines Register for a poll that he didn't like, which is absurd. which is fucking crazy. And he's suing CBS because they mildly edited a Kamala interview in the same way that Fox News has edited all their Trump interviews since the dawn of time. I mean, what are we even talking about here? Well, I'll tell you what we're talking about. This stuff isn't meant to be logical. This is how an authoritarian dictator operates. He's going to make it so painful for the news to do their job that they're just going to stop talking about him and let him get away with whatever he wants. And they're going to do the same thing to independent media on YouTube and TikTok and everywhere else that they disagree with. If you don't think so, you're fucking stupid. Is Joe Rogan going to talk about that when they're openly censoring lefties? Is Joe Rogan actually going to talk about that? I doubt it. You'll notice that Joe Rogan is very picky and choosy about what he talks about.
Done that, and they were all controlled by the left. Do you think Facebook would have loosened up their grip?
No,
I don't think so.
Well, look, Meta, Alphabet, they're all kind of rewriting, toning down their DEI policy.
And what was their grip? I mean, you guys, what was their grip? They didn't let you spread hate speech. They didn't let you guys be Nazis. Like, what are you talking about? Does this have to do with the Russiagate thing? You know, Russia helped get Trump elected. And you guys say, oh, that's a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy. Well, it's pretty fucking obvious now, isn't it? As Trump sides with Putin on everything. It's pretty fucking obvious now. Guess it wasn't a conspiracy. Guess fuckface Matt Taibbi was wrong.
Policies, right?
I think that's also because Zuckerberg started doing jujitsu. I really do.
They start taking testosterone.
Yeah, shout out
for
to
a change.
Yeah. Another example of an insecure bitch boy taking steroids and doing jiu-jitsu so he can feel better about himself. Zuckerberg and Joe Rogan have a lot in common, man. A lot in common. Insecure little bitch boys.
Jack Machado.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu changed your mind, man. It'll change who you are.
Yeah, it'll rolling around with muscle men and grinding their dick in your face will really change who you are. Remember, Joe Rogan's the guy that was saying, I really want to know what it's like to have a dick inside me.
Realize there's reality in this world.
He's looking a lot more manly.
He does. Looks a lot more manly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're the party of masculinity. Hey bro, come over here and wrestle with me. Come over here and wrap your legs around me, bro. We're so masculine. Hey bro, your balls are in my face. I love it.
He's got a thick neck now. I think that has
Oh, I bet you love thick necks, huh?
a lot to do with it.
Thick necks and thick shafts.
Because you start looking at things from a more libertarian perspective, from a merit-based perspective.
A merit-based perspective. Like your merit, you're a talentless hack. You are a talentless hack and you're worth $500 million. I don't think I've ever met anyone that thinks you're funny or likes your comedy. And that must fucking hurt. You've been doing comedy for almost 40 years. You started in 1988. And no one thinks you're funny. Ouch. Nobody thinks you're funny, bro. You had to buy a comedy club and hang your own albums up because nobody thinks you're funny. And no other comedy club ever would do that. You're not one of the greats. People don't think, oh, Richard Pryor and George Carlin and Mitch Hedberg and Bill Burr and Joe Rogan. No one thinks that. No one thinks, yeah, I like Norm Macdonald and Joe Rogan. No one thinks that. You're a fucking clown. All right, well, that's the end of that. Man, this was pretty vitriolic. I'm going to have to edit some stuff out of it. I'm going to definitely have to take some stuff out of this one. I'm working on some cartoons right now. And earlier in this week, I posted my first cartoon on here. It's Elon Musk. It features Vivek. It features Steve Bannon. There's a lot going on. I spent like a month on it, so go ahead and give it a watch. And like and subscribe. This is a new channel, but yeah, you could be one of the first. So there's that. All right, see ya. Oh. Final Stand Studios.